Hello folks, welcome to 411Motor, and today we are going to talk about adventure tourers. We are not here to talk about the KTM 390 Adventure 2025 because the internet is already viral with reviews, the good, the bad, and like we have previously said in our videos, we are not here to do reviews. But we are in this video, the entire aim is to talk about the adventure tourer fever that started with the Royal Enfield Himalayan 411, which was launched in 2017 if I recall correctly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or if I go back a little bit further, then probably with the Impulse or the Expulse.
Yeah.
So my question to Ritik is that do you think the adventure tourer fever that we are currently seeing is here to stay in India for long? Because suddenly there's an influx of adventure tourers coming in various CCs, and people are slowly moving towards adventure tourers.
Yeah.
But the number I don't think is a large number. So what is your take on that?
So personally, if you ask me, then I will answer this question somewhat in a way, like as you have said, the impulse and expulse. So before Himalayan, during the 2010 era, Impulse was the first bike that came up with a tag of an adventure tourer. Though it is not, it is more. It is much of a motocross. Yeah. But then, at that point of time, very few people used to travel or used to do adventure on their bikes. So now it is getting a bit popular. People are using their motorcycles not only for daily commuting, they are also using their motorcycles for adventure tours as well. So the main thing is that back then, when Impulse was introduced in our Indian market, so people started to take that particular motorcycle very seriously. So it has some extraordinary features back then, like front suspension travel was really impressive, and in the rear it has got a monoshock as well. So making it a smoother riding experience, and then it just got obsolete.
Discontinued.
Yeah, it is discontinued now. And then Royal Enfield came up with Himalayan.
Yeah.
So if I say this to you, then I will say that Dominar was the first vehicle that came up in this lineup, and then later on, if we talk about, then Himalayan came up. So it is just within a few months of gap, these two motorcycles came up.
Right.
So firstly, if I say that when Royal Enfield saw that Bajaj has brought something called highway cruiser or power cruiser, then they thought of giving it a try and made a motorcycle Himalayan 411.
But the Dominar was never projected as a motorcycle that could take on the Himalayas. The Himalayan was projected as a motorcycle that could go off-road. That was a major difference.
Yeah, that is a major difference. But the thing is that if you see the advertisements that we have seen,
Yeah, we have seen Dominar going in
they are like constant rivals.
Yeah.
So
They tried to project it like that.
So their perspective of these projections varies time to time. So
Right.
we are not anyone to predict that what is the main characteristics. Then Suzuki came up with
the V-Strom.
yeah. Then slowly KTM started to enter.
But the V-Strom came later than the KTM. The KTM was in 2020, 2019 or 20. The adventure one.
19.
Yeah.
Just after the new phase 390, Adventure 390 came up. 20.
Yeah.
You are right.
19 was when we saw it at the EICMA, I guess, and then 20 was launched. Yeah.
Then what I think is KTM is doing really absolutely a good work. Now, if you ask me why good work, then I would say this: if you see in other countries, they have an option. They have a wide range of adventure tours.
Right.
Starting from a 400 or 390cc till 1290, they have that. So I'm not sure they have this ADV 1290 or not, but I am taking this on another note because BMW has their GS 1250.
Things abroad are much different than what is being done in India, because this entire motorcycling or riding culture
Yeah,
has been present in foreign countries for a really long time.
yeah,
But in India, this idea of taking a motorcycling and going to places, this has somewhat become a very new thing.
yeah,
Before 2010, people were there who were doing stuff, but it really took off somewhere after 2014 or 2015.
yeah. It kickstarted
So
after 2000.
it's very natural that foreign countries have an influx of adventure tourer or adventure sports motorcycle, so that people there used buy them and they go on long rides.
Yeah, perfect.
But that wasn't the case, or that isn't even the case today also in our country,
Yeah.
to a large extent.
Definitely.
Right. Yeah.
So people are nowadays people are much more relying on a adventure tourer segment. What I see is, but they lack that CC. So if I talk about the person who is really that much enthusiastic about these adventure tours and these things, they will definitely try to or tend to go towards this adventure tours, because in our present scenario we have seen that people rely on a single bike for daily commuting as well as for tours. So the main thing is that if a person is investing such a huge amount, because now we can see a normal bike is coming at around 2 lakhs, sub 2 lakhs,
Right.
above 1.5 lakhs. So it is to some extent I think that it is not at all feasible for everyone to get a adventure tourer motorcycle.
Right.
People, you will hear people saying this, what this bike has or what this adventure tourers has, that it makes a so much price difference,
Right.
because it is all naked. The frame is visible and everything is visible, and the height and the saddle height is also very high. So to some extent, short riders faces difficulties handling this adventure tourer segment, because not only the height is raised, but the handle is also wide. Handlebar is also wide to give you a correct upright posture while you ride or while you are doing some adventure stuff.
Right.
So yeah, then again with the price, so people, for the people, the price is not justified yet. They always have a thought in their mind that why I would invest in such a motorcycle which doesn't have any body panels or parts.
Right.
But then again, they often overlook this fact that not in our present scenario, if you go everywhere or anywhere, you will definitely going to find a patch or a stretch where at times you will feel like if I had a adventure tourer, then I could have done this patch or stretch with the ease.
But we were discussing earlier,
Yeah.
and even like we live in Delhi and we commute on a daily basis.
Yeah.
We even go on night rides. We don't get to see too many adventure tourers.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
get to see 400cc motorcycles. We get to see expensive motorcycles. But the adventure tourer segment or the market share, I believe, is still pretty much less. Even though if you go on Instagram Reels, you will see so many people flaunting their adventure 390 or Himalayans, right?
Perfect.
But on the road, we don't see the numbers.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can go and dig out the numbers from the internet from various sources, because every month company produces their sales figures
Yeah.
of particular models, but we don't see the numbers on the streets. Now the question is, do you think this adventure tourer fever is a very permanent thing, or is it just because suddenly there's a little bit of influence from social media, because of which people are thinking that, oh, we will get an adventure tourer and we will go on one ride maybe a year, because like we have discussed earlier that India is a one motorcycle garage mindset country. So even people who are not doing Spiti or Ladakh or even normal highway tours, adventure tours regularly, they think of buying one adventure tourer because they cannot afford too many motorcycles.
Yeah, perfect.
Now that is one aspect. But do you think the market share is going to stretch?
It will stretch.
Okay.
Now, if you ask me the reason, then I would say this.
Because sorry to interrupt, because I have a
Sorry.
interesting take on this.
Yeah.
Right, and I'll get to, and this realization came from the Bharat mobility that we attended,
Yeah.
and we saw something there, and I realized something at that point.
From the house of TVS, are you talking about this?
Yeah, actually not just from the house of TVS, but I'll get to that in a minute. You complete, I'll get to that in a minute. Yeah.
So what we were discussing is, see, this adventure tourer segment is blooming.
Okay.
It is not completely bloomed.
Right.
So it is definitely going to take few years or so to get that fame or name. And I think the fever of these adventure tours has increased a lot since
Okay.
2014.
Right.
So back then people used to rely or take their own motorcycles like a sports bike or a normal power cruiser segment or a powerful bike to the Himalayas or anywhere where there was no tarmac. I have seen people taking their vehicles.
But now they have an option.
But now they have an option
Yeah.
to switch.
Yeah.
So suppose if a person who used to ride a Charisma, which was a semi-fared motorcycle,
Right.
so if he has done something on his Charisma, then I think if he still have that fever of
Yeah,
traveling.
Forget the Charisma, because the Charisma was a pretty good adventure. I mean, not adventure tourer, but a good tourer motorcycle,
Yeah,
sports
perfect.
tourer.
Yeah.
We have seen people taking R15
To
in Leh
I
Ladakh
have
and
also
Spiti,
seen
right?
that.
So-
That to the version 2.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
So that is there.
So that is the Kira. So which one needs to have? So if somebody is having that Kira, then he will be taking an adventure tourer any day
but
in the long run.
But even today, I mean, if we look at people who are into touring and they have the money, a good number of people are not buying adventure motorcycles but street fighter or naked motorcycles. You know, like the Pulsar, you know, NS 400 or Duke 390, and they are touring on it.
Yeah.
They don't feel like shifting to the adventure tourer segment. So that is
So
there,
that is
right?
also a purpose.
Yeah.
There is also a purpose to this. What I think is, people think that if they are getting a motorcycle with half the price of a 390 adventure, with that price, if they add 50% of the amount of the motorcycle, they are going to get all the accessories, which will not fully, but to some extent will transform their motorcycles to a adventure tourer.
Right.
People, most of the time, people forget this, that they are just doing these things aesthetically. Performance wise, nothing can match one segment of a motorcycle with another segment of motorcycle.
Right.
So the main concern over here is this: if people are that much aware, so instead of wasting money taking a vehicle, wasting money on modification without any performance upgrade, if they think that they are ready to do that trip, then it's perfectly fine.
Right.
But it is completely pointless to match two different genres of motorcycle in a similar way.
Right.
because you cannot match a motorcycle's performance, right?
Right.
For an example, your 390 Adventure has a long suspension travel as compared to my Dominar. What is your actual radius of the front wheel? It's 21, I guess.
No, mine is 19 because I have the X model, right?
Yeah.
The spoke model has 21.
Yeah. So that is 19. Mine is 17.
17.
Our both rear ends have a same wheel radius. But the thing is that what I have observed after riding your motorcycle is this. Adventure Tourers stands with that tall height, long seat, sleek seat with a wide handlebar. That will provide you enough confidence while you are doing some off-road, be it on the mountains or in the daily commutes. Near our home, we have already seen that the road is already digged up. So, regular commuters are just passing by, taking the exit lane. But I have seen you standing and saddling, and you are just going on that track.
Yeah.
So what is this? This is what defines the true characteristics of an adventure tourer.
Right.
Though I also admit that these adventure tourers starts really from a decent amount of price tag, which people think before they consider an adventure tourer as their motorcycle. See, for an example, we have another option like ADV 250. So there is a lot more price difference between these two, ADV 250 and ADV 390.
Okay.
I have seen many ADV 390s, but I have seen a very few ADV 250. Now, what's the reason behind this?
I think it has a lot to do with the power.
Yeah.
Because people don't want to go for the 250 but want to go for the 390, and I don't think there's another reason. The 250, the cost of the 250 ADV and the cost of the 390X.
Yeah.
That's not a wide gap.
Yeah.
So people think that why should we not go for the 390X instead of buying the 250?
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, the bottom. So I mean, from your point of view, you believe the 390. I mean, the adventure fever. I mean, the adventure market space is going to bloom.
Yeah, it will definitely bloom, but it will definitely going to take some few years as well.
Right. So now we go back to the Bharat mobility.
Yeah. Please.
I
I'm also really very excited to hear.
January. So before we speak about the Bharat mobility and what we saw there, I mean, almost everybody saw the reels and all that.
Yeah.
We also have the Triumph Scrambler 400X.
Yeah. That is a different machine.
Now, I believe that the adventure tourer segment will grow, but at a very restricted pace.
Why?
Because, see, with adventure tourers, there are several issues. People have problem with weight. Your height has nothing to do with the motorcycle you ride, but that's a mental block people cannot overcome. Majority of the people. I know very good veteran riders who are scared of riding my motorcycle because they are 5'5", 5'4". So, when you have such mental blocks, yet people want something that can do commuting, that can also do decent amount of off-roading, and touring is obviously there. And that is where I think the Triumph Scrambler 400X is a bang for, value for money motorcycle.
Bang for bucks, yeah.
I mean, the only reason, there were two reasons why I didn't go for the Triumph Scrambler 400X. The rear seat, which I felt was not wide enough to accommodate my pillion. My pillion is around, let's say, around 75, 80 kilos, 85 kilos, right? The pillions I carry. And the idea of adding luggage after adding that pillion
will
directly
impact on the
Yeah.
CG.
right? Yes, obviously the CG would have been
Shifted.
shifted at the rear. Maybe we would have uh, we would have come across some wobbling. I don't know.
It is.
I don't know if it's an issue that Triumph Scrambler
It will
owners
come.
face if they have a pillion, if they have a they
Luggage racks.
add too many luggage at the rear. That was one part, and second part is on the highway, on the expressways. I do feel like stretching my motorcycle where I can hit 150, 160, and a little bit above. The KTM 390 is capable of doing that. The Triumph Scrambler, we all know about the speedo error that goes up to 160, 170. But in reality, I have not seen the motorcycle crossing 150, 151, something like that. After that, it really struggles.
That's a.
It has a really good acceleration point. Initially, it accelerates much better than the KTM 390 Adventure,
But-
the old gen,
Yeah.
not the new one. I don't know about the new one. I have not ridden it. But compared to my Adventure 390X 2024, the Triumph Scrambler has a very good bottom end torque, and initially reacts and accelerates very fast. Now, that is one motorcycle that is capable of doing everything without too much weight,
Yeah.
right? I mean, if we talk about the ADV's weight and the Scrambler's weight, they are more or less similar. But people still have this mental block that, oh, this motorcycle looks big, so I won't be able to handle the 390 Adventure or the Himalayan. The Himalayan is obviously heavier.
One thing I would like to add over
Right.
here is, as you have said that we all have seen veteran riders, many veteran riders who have a very less height, but they tackle or manage their vehicle very easily. Yeah, it is feasible and possible too. But the thing is that one thing everybody will admit is, if you have that extra length in your legs,
It's easier.
it's easier.
It's easier. It's definitely easier.
Again, sorry.
Right.
Then I think that this height portion will add a extra mileage to the riding conditions,
Right.
and then again, yeah, forwarded to you,
Right.
Captain.
So what I was saying was that Scrambler is one segment of motorcycle that actually allows a person to everything they do on a regular motorcycle, plus a little bit of off-roading or soft-roading in a much easier manner, right? And at a lesser price point as well. Now, this is where we go back to the Bharat mobility thing, and we got to see the TVS concept of RTX, Apache RTX, which was a super motor, a hyper motard sort of a motorcycle. And that's when I realized that maybe more than the adventure tourer fever, my personal opinion, that supermotos or scramblers are here to take a greater leap than adventure tourers in India. Because I mean, if we look at the supermoto thing, the RTX concept, TVS is working on an RTS concept, but we already have the KTM SMCR
Supermoto, right?
supermoto, right? The SMCR that is yet to be launched in India, but it's already here. I mean, who would have thought that we would get a 399cc supermoto motorcycle as soon as this? TVS is working on a concept, and if they are working on a concept, then that means they have put some thought into it. There's no need for them to suddenly go out
They have done
and
this
work on a
research.
concept, but they did. So, if we talk about supermotos or scramblers, like I said, easier to ride motorcycles, you have a better ground clearance, right? With the supermoto, you get 17 on both ends. With the scrambler, you get 19 at the front, 17 at the rear. Basic difference. But both motorcycles with increased ground clearance, better suspension setup, peppy engine, very peppy engine, very good low end torque. You have a sleek sort of a design that's not that at least visually doesn't look heavy,
Yeah.
visually doesn't look very big, and you also have a seat height that's not too hard to handle. So I think that because of these reasons and the lesser price tag, also the, you know, given the motorcycle looks smaller, uh, the mental block is somewhat reduced and people can easily maneuver these motorcycles. I mean, if I have ridden the Scrambler 400X, I still believe it is very easier to maneuver the Scrambler 400X compared to my ADV 390, despite them sharing almost nearly same weight. So these kind of mental blocks are the reason why I believe that the adventure tourer genre is going to have a very restricted movement forward. We are going to see a lot of adventure tourers from other companies. Hero is working on it, 1-1. TVS is soon going to join the bandwagon. But I think scramblers and supermotos, they are going to be the next great thing.
Adventure tourists will also come.
Yeah, like I said, they will definitely come, but I think the pace is going to be restricted.
Wait for a minute. I would like to ask my audience, or rather our audience, please share your thoughts in the comment
Yeah,
section.
do share your thoughts, because
which is going to bloom.
because this is a realization I had right there at Bharat Mobility. And after, I mean, we saw that concept, we also saw the SMCR, and I was like, why these motorcycles? I mean, suddenly we are getting these motorcycles, right?
So there
that-
is something strategically
yeah,
proven things.
because see, right, like I said, I mean, adventure tourers arrived in India in 2017, but for example, we have seen naked motorcycles picking up pace massively.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if we talk about from the FZ, then the KTM Dukes, then the Pulsar NS, after that the Apaches, and so on.
Honda Hornets.
Honda Hornets, and so on. The street fighter or the naked motorcycle segment had a very quick turnaround.
Yeah.
You know, it was a very pacey evolution. Suddenly, our streets were filled with naked street fighters or naked sports motorcycles, but that isn't the case with the adventure tourers.
Yeah.
Like 2017 till now, we see a lot of people on social media riding Himalayans, riding Adventure 390. We have lots of groups, Facebook forums, etc., etc. But like I said, we commute in Delhi every day. We don't see too many people riding 390 Adventure or Himalayan or the V-Strom.
To be very honest, I have seen very rare bikes below 1000cc
Right.
and above 150cc.
Right. Even
That's the practical scenario of
even
Delhi.
if we go to, I mean, even in Kolkata,
I have seen.
like not too many.
Not too many, but they are.
I mean, the number of 400cc motorcycles we see, out of the number of 400cc, not too many are Himalayans or Adventure 390.
Very rare.
Right? Or
Rare of the
even,
rares,
if we
yeah.
go to 250cc, not too many of them are V-Stroms. That's the whole point. Tons of 400cc's, but only chunks of adventure tourers here and there.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, absolutely correct.
So that's my point.
So it's up to you.
Yeah.
Please drop
Let
your
us
comments
know
and let us know
What
do you think
about
of me?
this opinion? I mean, people are not, probably you are not going to like this opinion. And do like, share and subscribe. And thanks for watching. This is 411 Motor. My name is Rohit Chatterjee with Ritik Das. Thank you.
Thank you.